watch, you know, like I'm saying, someone's going to want to get a nugget where it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, what's happening is now I'm turned on and the music goes off. And I am just experiencing this overwhelming energy and vitality, happiness, and it's just an interesting one for myself that I feel a little bit concerned about being too happy and too much. I mean, and I think that was a problem initially, that I was concerned. And now I'm going the opposite direction, where I'm just worried about being too much and when I'm excited, people can't handle it, and also the people are overwhelmed. Like the impact of the happiness on people and their jealousy or their whatever happens, like just an interesting phenomenon to flip. And then what happens, like to be depressed and then all of a sudden flip and then I'm happy, and then people can't compute with it, or they don't, just the impact of how happy affects someone. And so I'm just learning to be in that, and just the way that, you know, that our energy or intensity or excitement, or how that impacts people and how it's hard for people to handle because it brings things up for them, like it triggers them.
It does a lot of things, but a lot of it also has to do with what they were conditioned was okay to do.
Right. Their limitations growing up.
And they don't even, you know, it's like the thing, that energy makes them uncomfortable, so shut it down.
Right. Just in general. So
just
that's,
however,
like a kid gets excited and happy and says, no, that's too much. It's too much. Shut it down. Shut it off. Right.
And so, you know, and in a playground, you know, like running and jumping and playing.
Yeah, that's why they let that happen.
And then you're conditioned to pull it in.
Right.
And to shut it down. And then we're told to bring it out and share it, and then there's society. Like we're told in our sub-community of our expressive, but even in our sub-community, it's rare that, like I was playing today, and Alea just, you know, it's just like by the end of it, she was playing with me some more, but it hits this place of, I've got to work, I've got to stay focused, I can't go there, or I can't meet you, or I can't, you know, and so very rarely does somebody actually meet me in the play. And I acknowledge Brian Tierney. He meets me there, that was part of our play zone. Like there was we didn't judge each other. We just riffed, like you and Dane do. And how good it, fuck yeah. And yet there's different levels. It's like, so how do you modulate in regards to the environment, and being able to track it and to move from one place to another, that where there's big energy that's allowed, and otherwise, that, you know, like how do you modulate it in our culture in a way that maintains the respect?
Right, I know. Well, that's an interesting thing.
You know, and it's really not an easy thing.
It's just fascinating to me because I can be crazy. I can be crazy one way, and I can be totally outcast. But I can be crazy like a rock star, and then you're totally like accepted. But it's just interesting.
Well, in the right position. Like if you act crazy like a rock star in a position where you get judged, then you get judged for that. I mean.
But it's just interesting, like I'm kind of a crazy guy right now. I mean, I've kind of always been crazy, but.
You're embracing
I'm embracing it, and I'm okay with it. I think this is self-love about it, like that I don't care.
But what is crazy?
It's grounded. It's more grounded.
What is crazy though?
Well, it's just out of the norm. It's just like a not conforming to the robotic operations of society, which I've never really done anyway. But it's just I'm just fascinating to me, like the rock and roll, like they are total misfits. They don't follow the pack. They're doing their own thing, and we love them to pieces, you know. But they're the acceptable crazy ones. You know, they can be crazy and be accepted and scream on stage and have a huge audience. Like,
and it's okay.
But it's okay. Why is it okay then? And it's not
but it's
okay?
not okay and daily. Or you know, like.
Well, I mean, I think this kind of goes back to one of our conversations about containing, like we kind of, maybe it wasn't us, but conversation about us, how we actually keep ourselves, we maintain control over each other. We think it's imposed on the system, but we're actually keeping each other.
No, well, the system
suppressed.
conditions the managers to
We manage
each other,
Right.
and tear each other down.
Right.
And
Right,
there's
right.
all different kinds of mechanisms.
And people don't realize that they're doing it, that they're holding to system standard law, but they're just doing it because it makes them feel comfortable, like
Well,
safe. It's
all-
really safety, right?
all of the above, but how we are conditioned into culture, indoctrinated to become adults, and the system that is created around supporting that.
Mm-hmm.
Our educational system, our job system, how we parent. There's all of these different ways that we've culturally, social architecture has lineage, and it's over time, and people pass it on and they build shit around it, and it's breaking down, and it's breaking down by the amount of addiction that lives in the culture, by the amount of self-abuse, by the amount of our lack of ability to direct our clear thinking towards the issues of our time that really are, what percentage of human beings right now are actively engaged in transforming society so we don't become extinct as a fundamental. Like, if we took all of our creative juice and rearranged the system, but the system has its own momentum. So we're chugging towards the edge, and there's some of us who are trying to like peel back, and we ought to do it differently, and turn and we keep on not getting funded. We keep on running. I mean, like, how long have I been tooting this horn? And many of us toot this horn, but the system doesn't necessarily fund that.
Doesn't support that kind of development.
No.
Growth and development.
And then there are systems within systems that are trying to activate and transform the consciousness of the collective, and we're a part of that heartbeat. And that there is this undercurrent of social consciousness that lives within being, that humanity is birthing out of. We're kind of like, we grew these great brains, and then these great brains created these structures, and now we have to take these great brains and work with these structures in a way that actually frees our primal instincts in our nature, which is healthy when there's healthy feedback. And all of this craziness isn't crazy, that's just the projection of what it means to be human, is that we have a lot of energy. Every child has a lot of energy. What happens to that energy, and how is it channeled in a way that gives us more of ourselves or plugs us into a system that perpetuates the status quo? And there's a lot of, it's like our evolutionary mud of co-created existence. And in that mud, we build skyscrapers and planes, and we're cresting into technology, and yet we still operate from a system that is not connected to the hurt and the pain that it causes by its actions. And I think as I hear horses in the background, I hate our relationship to every other animal. And our relationship to planet Earth. Hate is an interesting word. I feel like I actually don't feel hate. I feel this deep desire for us to grow up and transform so that we can take responsibility and be in good relationship, and that if we were given the ability to free our shit up, we could do that as adults. And then the adult is an expression of, and I have a very expressive energy. Not everybody has this kind of expressive energy. You have it in your way. And I don't fit into a non-expressive person in a good way. for too long, I start to pop. Yeah, but I can do it.
You
I
try
can.
and force yourself into that, you mean?
No, it's what I do all the time. It's what I live in this culture too. I don't
You mean
have.
you have to suppress yourself?
I don't surprise.
Or you have to keep it.
I modulate to
Right.
fit the situation.
Wisely.
And to, yeah, it's called discernment. Like, and you know, like being able to be free and playful, and at the same time, I never lose my intelligence when I'm doing this. I'm still a very smart woman in here. And
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, it's the place where, like, the English came over and don't like the primal, you know, the primordial essence of, you know, the native people. It's like they're lesser than, you know? It's like, I'm just thinking.
It's like
Consciousness, different.
Well, no, it's more the righteous ability to take anything, dominion over anything
Right,
primal,
sure.
nature, anything, to harness nature, to harness, anything that women even. I mean, there's like this, like, who sits at the top of the playing field and harnesses other underneath, and it's called the authoritarian thread. And this authoritarian dynamic, uses control and dynamics of suppression and separation. There's a whole infrastructure in the authoritarian evolution that we are a part of, and it morphs into all different shapes and forms and has teeth, and so authoritarianism embedded in capitalism creates these monsters that are doing shit to our world that are kind of unhealthy. And
well, I was getting this download the other day around, I can't, just trying to imagine the state of consciousness that these men had to have to kill off the Native Americans the way that they did, to slaughter them and to kill them. Like, how much fear they must have had, and to me, to hate and to have fear and to, to want power over, but like, to me, I believe that they were jealous of their indigenous soul, their like connection to nature, the magic, their relationship with nature, that it was so far from that they couldn't understand it, and they had to kill it. They had to like suppress and extinguish that which they feared, and like the magic that they had and their relationship with nature and their relationship to themselves, their soul, their depth to their soul. Like these were soulless people who were hungry for soul and hungry for that connection. They couldn't relate to it, so they had to kill it, and in order for them to survive within, And I was just thinking about that, but just the how soulless they would have to be to kill that.
well, we're doing it. Do you eat meat?
Yeah, it's true.
We're doing it right now. I'm soulless right now. I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it.
You're killing, you mean?
I'm a part of the fucking system.
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
That
Right.
that energy
so the system itself
it's embedded in how it's like to so how we
So the only reason that it was okay for them to slaughter the Native Americans was the group consciousness of like, oh, this is just what we need to do in order to attain the land.
and then the belief systems around it and how they do it, and the vilification of other and primal, and
making them a villain, you mean?
Yeah.
The primal.
Yeah, and that it's ours, that we have a right to do this. And we do this with all animals.
Right.
Still, like, and we're doing it to ourselves and treating ourselves still. I just heard a horrifying reality that was like, wow. So we've built a lot of detention centers across the United States.
Okay.
And
right, I heard about that.
and they've been building them for
Since 9/11.
a while.
Okay.
And the horror, and I knew that they were being built. The horror is they're fucking full right now. And full to capacity.
Full of what?
Humans.
For what? Anything that they're questioning? Holy shit.
No, immigration, darling.
Oh.
Hayanashite. It's
Oh.
happening fucking now.
Wow.
You know, Senator Warren, what is her first name?
I don't know.
She did a little podcast that I really appreciated. And she was like, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we're not allowed to bring cameras into it. So I'm going to give you, you know, a vocal documentation of what I saw. And so now I'm going to parrot her documentation. And so my parrot of what she saw was cages with men packed so that you could not lie down.
Oh my God.
You know, or not everyone could lie down. So it was just like, so it was full enough so not everyone, if need be, would be able to lie down at once. So it's full. Women over here. Mothers are allowed, and these are cages. Mothers are allowed to be in a cage with their children. Children are separated from their parents and put in another cage.
Wow. Wait, mothers can be with their children, but
Babies. Babies.
Oh, but the
They're
children are in their own thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
how many thousands people?
you know,
Hundreds of thousands?
I don't know.
So what are they going to do with them?
Know.
And how do they, like, get all the money it takes to feed them all and keep
We
them?
are paying an industry. This is an industry that we are paying for this atrocity. And so they are making money off of housing them.
How are they making money?
They are making money by feeding them so that it's part of a corporate. And then what they're and they're creating, so the wall is going up slowly but surely, which is horrifying. And so here we are on planet Earth with amazing possibilities. Like, we see the possibilities of what it means to actually, and that's why, like, is it okay to be this happy? Is it okay to be this empowered? Is it okay? And, you know, for me, it's like my joy and my capacity to be in goodness with myself comes from me chomping on these deeper issues and spitting them out emotionally and finding a way to do good in the world. And I find that I have been getting more heavy and more depressed because of my efforts to try and support a wake up that I'm not finding where I fit to support the connections that give the collective the thing that I know we need, which is inspiration. You know, and then, you know, and I've been actively working to getting myself to move forward, and I feel like I'm slowly creating mechanisms so that I don't fill up with unexpressed goodness that turns to poison. And so it's like, and part of me is like really fighting some of, like, I'm getting, like, the closer I get to actually putting myself out there into the world, the more I notice my own trauma body getting activated around becoming seen. And I can feel my own system. And so I'm like going through my own internal growth process to be able to stand up and move this energy out and be of good service. But it's like we're all in each of our own ways where we are. How do we inspire consciousness to move forward? And part of it is creating things that make sense to people and give them new perspectives and open up doorways of co-creation. So I'm excited to just have the opportunity to share right now, because this helps me move forward.
Part of our greatest fear is our inability to. Our greatest fear is our success, not our failure.
We ask ourselves, who am I to be gorgeous, talented, and brilliant? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and you were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within you. It is not just in some of us. It is in us all. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission for all. So that was spoken by Marianne Williamson, and was it Marianne who wrote it and Gandhi spoke it?
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. God, it's been forever. Since God, my brain, honey, I'm getting older. It's scary.
Oh, you
my
remembered
God.
that was good.
But it's true. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. It's our light. And
It's fascinating to me, like all the self-sabotage and the resistance.
I'm like, Surya, just okay. I'm recognizing it. I'm like, fuck. It's true. It's really true, actually. I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, Surya, you're the one who's getting into your own way right now.
Yeah, right?
I'm just like, and I'm tripping and I'm falling and I'm picking myself up and I'm putting one foot in
you are
another.
your biggest opponent.
But I'm working it.
Where'd that come from?
This is my hair screw. It's the best thing. It is. It's the best thing. It's like when I go dancing, if you screw this into your hair,
It doesn't come out.
it doesn't come out. I was like, I could make $1 million off of this. Just like, really, you put this on, you screw it in.
I don't know if many people would do that.
Oh, no, women
I think
would.
that's crazy.
No,
that's
it's
really
not.
Crazy.
I've been doing it for years. It works
Corkscrew in
better.
your head. Stupid.
It's yeah, it works.
I bet. Glad you found the solution.
Well, one of them. Was that a good wrap?
Yeah, that was good.
All right.
So, what I think needs to happen is just put it up. Forget about just making it so complicated. Just do it.
Just fucking put it up. Would you just fucking put it up? I said put it up. No. I'll stop it.